You ever wonder how some conflict, thousands of miles away, could actually make the stuff you buy more expensive? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. We're looking at how attacks in this one narrow strip of water, the Red Sea, are sending these huge economic ripples all across the world.
So how does that even work? I mean, it seems like a massive jump, right? Connecting a conflict in Yemen to prices at your local store. But you're about to see that the shipping lanes that carry, well, everything, they're like the arteries of the global economy. And right now, one of the main ones is under some serious pressure.
Okay, so to really get the global impact, we have to start at the source. We've got to go back to the beginning, to the spark that lit this whole thing up and turned this region into a new global hotspot.
So the group at the center of all this are the Yemeni Houthis. They've started targeting these huge commercial ships that are just trying to pass through the Red Sea. But these attacks, they're not random. They were actually triggered by a much bigger event in the region.
And there it is. The timing here is absolutely everything. These attacks on massive cargo ships didn't just start out of nowhere. They kicked off right after the war between Israel and Hamas began, which directly ties this whole shipping mess to the much wider geopolitics of the Middle East.
And here's where things got even more complicated. At first, the stated targets were ships linked to Israel. But that's changed. The scope has gotten way wider, and now even ships with zero connection to Israel are being attacked. This escalation is what's turned the Red Sea into a no-go zone for pretty much all international shipping.
So we know who's doing it, what they're doing, and why they started. But that still doesn't quite explain the huge global impact. For that, it's all about location, location, location. Because this isn't happening out in the middle of the ocean. It's happening in one of the most critical choke points on the entire planet.
Just look at this number for a second. 10%. Let that sink in. What do you think that represents? It's 10% of all global trade. A tenth of all the stuff bought and sold across the entire world has to pass through this one single narrow corridor. It's basically a massive commercial superhighway, and right now, it's a danger zone.
And you got to understand what's actually on these ships. We're not just talking about sneakers and TVs. A huge slice of this traffic is energy. We're talking massive amounts of oil from the Persian Gulf that needs this route to get to Europe and other parts of the world. So this isn't just about your Amazon package being late. It's a major threat to global energy security.
So what happens when the main highway is closed? Well, you have to take a detour. And for these giant shipping companies, the only detour is a long one. A very long one.
And you can see the two options right here. On one side, you've got the direct path, the shortcut from Asia to Europe through the Red Sea. But the alternative? Going all the way down and around the southern tip of Africa. I mean, just looking at it on a map, the difference is just wild.
And here's what that detour means in the real world. It adds an extra 2 weeks. 2! That's 2 more weeks of paying the crew, 2 more weeks of burning unbelievably expensive fuel, and a 2-week delay for every single thing on that ship. The costs just pile up like you wouldn't believe.
Okay, so let's put it all together. You've got a tax, a dangerous choke point, and now a super expensive 2-week detour. This all builds up to the final piece of the puzzle, the very real cost this has for all of us.
It's a classic domino effect. It's really simple when you lay it out. The attacks make the sea unsafe, so ships are forced to go the long way around. Those journeys are now 2 weeks longer. That directly jacks up the cost of shipping everything. And when the cost of fuel and transport goes up, the final domino to fall is the rising risk of global inflation. So what you end up with are these 2 major economic shockwaves. First, you get an immediate spike in the cost of oil because it's suddenly so much more expensive to move it around. And second, you get this bigger risk of inflation because every other company has to pass on those higher shipping costs to us. So it all just boils down to this, really. Increasing the cost of oil and the risks of higher inflation. That one sentence connects everything from the attacks in the Red Sea right back to the pressure we all feel on our wallets.
And that leaves us with this one big looming question. What this whole situation has really done is shine a massive spotlight on just how fragile our system is. It shows how one single problem in one small place can have these gigantic consequences, forcing us all to ask, just how secure is this incredibly interconnected global economy we all depend on?